Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer unveiling his list of demands for a Senate impeachment trial, calling for witnesses as the House Judiciary Committee releases its 658-page impeachment report overnight. And has the Supreme Court undercut one of the two articles of impeachment already? Let's discuss it with Democratic strategist Dave Brown and attorney to President Trump, Jenna Ellis. Good to have you both back with us tonight.
Great to see you, Shannon.
Okay, I want to play a little bit of what the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer had to say today about his proposal.
I haven't seen a single good argument about why these witnesses shouldn't testify or these documents be produced unless the president has something to hide and his supporters want that information hidden.
Jenna, he has some very specific requests, including Mick Mulvaney and John Bolton, among others. And he says, why shouldn't these witnesses show up in a Senate trial?
Well, it's really hypocritical coming from Chuck Schumer after the Republican minority in the House has been forestalled at every single turn for the last 2.5 months. I mean, this is ridiculous that Democrats are now calling for fairness and for due process and all of these things that were absolutely 100% denied in the House. And so I think that it's really ridiculous that he stands up there and is saying that, you know, this now has to be a fair and constitutional process, when of course the Democrats have not been for that whatsoever. And so if he were actually looking at fairness, if he were actually looking at impartiality, he would be asking for this whole entire case to be dismissed, because they're not even impeaching President Trump for a crime, for nothing. There was absolutely no legitimate legal or constitutional basis to even get to this point. So for him to be standing up there saying this is just entirely hypocritical and ridiculous. And I want to point out too, Shannon, that this week we have the House voting tomorrow on appropriations, which includes the wall funding that President Trump campaigned on, that the American people elected him to do. Then we also have Thursday, the USMCA, which President Trump campaigned on. He pledged and he's fulfilling his promises. Right smack dab in the middle of that, impeachment. Over what? Nothing. President Trump is absolutely fulfilling his promises, and it's so hypocritical.
Let's bring Dave in, because Dave, of course, Democrats will then say, look, we're proving that we can actually get stuff done. In the middle of impeachment. I mean, if they work with him on USMCA and there's appropriations thing, I mean, this has been one of the main critiques of them, is that they aren't getting anything done but impeachment. But to this point, Mark Meadows, obviously a Republican congressman who's been a big supporter of the president and defender of him, tweets this: I have to laugh seeing Democrats and some pundits now suddenly incredulous about the Senate's handling of impeachment. If you missed it, for 2 months, House Democrats ran roughshod over the rules, obliterated precedent, and gave the president virtually zero due process rights. That's Jenna's argument. Your response?
Yeah, well, a lot to unpack here, and I think Jenna and I clearly read a different 658-page committee report, because I'm not sure. I'm not every single page. Look, really quickly on the walking and chewing gum at the same time point. The House under Nancy Pelosi have passed over 400 bills. Around 300 of those are sitting in Mitch McConnell's so-called legislative graveyard in the Senate. He refuses to take them up. He wants judges, and he only wants judges. In fact, Susan Collins has been asking him. She's been begging. She's been saying, please, let's pass some legislation. Let's pick up some of these bills. So that's answer one.
But you know
that's answer one.
House Democrats, and just like when Republicans are running the show, they pass a bunch of stuff that's sort of a messaging bill. It goes there knowing it's not going to go anywhere.
Well, Shannon, all I know is that there are 300 pieces of legislation that passed the House that are pending the Senate, and they're not even considering them. So, answer to your first question. The second point about this broader question of process, I mean, I guess nobody has a sense of history or remembers history, because if you recall, during Clinton's impeachment in, 1998 or 97?
None of us were alive then.
None of us were alive. The Republican-led Senate and Democrats passed unanimous consent. They passed a set of rules. Chuck Schumer has asked Mitch McConnell to adopt nearly all of those same rules. The letter that he sent yesterday, very late yesterday, mirrors that same bipartisan package. And there were 2 votes during the Clinton impeachment. One was by unanimous consent. The other had the unanimous consent of all Republican members of the Senate. So what Chuck Schumer is trying to do is lay out the same set of processes. And by the way, Jenna, I don't understand why your side wouldn't want to have a few witnesses. It would be the first time in the history of this republic.
Well, you know,
there have been 2 other trials. It would be the first time.
It would be the
first time.
Would you be okay
Would
you be okay with Hunter Biden and Adam Schiff being called as witnesses?
I think that backfires for Republicans, but honestly, Shannon, I come down on the side of the Constitution on this one. Yes, I would be.
Okay.
Here's why. Because I think that the American people benefit when we have witnesses and we have a full and
Jenna,
fair consideration.
So, Jenna, can you make that deal? If they'll give you Hunter and Congressman Schiff, will you agree to the rest of the package?
It's not up to me, but I think that President Trump has been very clear. If this does proceed to a full and robust trial in the Senate, he's saying bring it on, because the American people will see the truth, that there's absolutely no evidence against him.
Hang on, Jenna. Why the disconnect between the White House and Mitch McConnell on this?
There's absolutely absolutely evidence against Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, and I don't think the Democrats really want that.
I don't get this, though. This is this back and forth. I mean, Mitch McConnell has said he's in lockstep with the president, and yet the president has actually wanted to call witnesses, and there's been a huge debate inside the Republican caucus. You guys can't get your strategy straight.
Well, listen,
not true. No, it just hasn't been fully fleshed out yet, and we'll see. And so that's where
I guess
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he's going to sit down with Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. They are going to talk about how to proceed here. So we'll see if the two of them in this very feisty, passionate time on Capitol Hill can come to an agreement and see where this goes in January. So we'll see.
Should have been bipartisan earlier.
I wish you guys had actually participated.
I wish you would actually let us.
We did.
We did. Dave and Jenna, we'll continue this during the commercial. Thank you both.
Thanks, Jenna, very much.